Hey everyone, Elizabeth here. The Last Laugh delivers stories that leave you speechless. If you're here for it, hit subscribe and let's go.
The group text arrived on a Tuesday morning while I was reviewing quarterly reports for my portfolio companies. Brother, Marcus, big announcement. Melissa and I are engaged. Engagement party next Saturday at the Harbor Club. Details to follow. Within minutes, the family chat exploded with congratulations. Mom sent 12 heart emojis. Dad posted a photo of champagne. My sister Claire immediately started planning her outfit. I typed, "Congratulations, Marcus. Very happy for you both." 3 hours later, a private message appeared from Marcus. "Marcus, hey, can we talk? About the party." My stomach tightened. I'd met Melissa exactly twice. Both times she'd given me tight smiles before turning away to talk to more interesting people. Her words, not mine. Me, sure. "What's up?" "Marcus, so Melissa's family is. They're big deal people. Her dad runs Whitmore Capital. Her mom is on like 5 boards. Her brother just made partner at Sullivan and Cromwell." Me, okay. "Marcus, the party is going to be really high-end. Harbor Club, you know. Her family's friends are coming. Business associates. People from her firm." I waited. "Marcus, the thing is, Melissa thinks it might be better if you sat this one out. Nothing personal. It's just, optics." I stared at my phone for a full minute. Me, optics. "Marcus, you're still doing the nonprofit admin thing, right? Melissa's family is all finance and law. Her friends are in banking, consulting, venture capital. She's worried about, I don't know, awkward conversations? Someone asking what you do and it being weird." Me, I see. "Marcus, come on, don't be like that. You know how these things are. It's about making good impressions. Melissa's stressed enough about meeting everyone. She doesn't need extra complications." Me, I'm a complication. "Marcus, that's not what I said. Look, we'll do something just us, okay? Dinner or whatever. But this party, it's important for Melissa's career. Her boss is coming. Her managing director. People who matter for her promotion track." I took a breath. Me, understood. Congratulations again. I closed the text thread and returned to work. I had a video call with my CFO in 20 minutes, and we needed to discuss the Henderson Media acquisition. That evening, Dad called. "Your brother told me about the party situation," he said without preamble. "It's fine, Dad. I think you should understand where he's coming from. This girl, Melissa, she's from a very accomplished family. The Whitmores are serious people. Her father manages over $8 billion in assets. I know who they are. Then you understand why Marcus wants everything to go smoothly. First impressions matter in these circles. Melissa's building a career at one of the most prestigious wealth management firms in the state. The people at this party are her colleagues, her clients, her network. And I would damage that network." "I didn't say that. But you have to admit your situation is different. You work at a nonprofit. You rent that small apartment. You drive a 10-year-old Honda. These people, they judge. That's just reality. So I'm an embarrassment. Stop being dramatic. We're being practical. This is Marcus's future we're talking about. His relationship. His life with this woman. If her family thinks our family isn't compatible, that could cause real problems." "Got it. Good. I'm glad you're being mature about this. We'll all have dinner after they get back from their honeymoon. Something low-key." He hung up. 2 days later, Mom added her perspective via a lengthy text message. Sweetheart, I know you might feel hurt about the party, but I really think Marcus and Melissa are making the right choice. This is such an important event for them. Melissa's family has certain expectations. They move in very elevated circles. Her guest list includes some of the most successful people in the city: CEOs, senior partners, managing directors. These are people who measure success in very specific ways. Your work is wonderful and meaningful, but it's not the kind of thing that impresses at a Harbor Club cocktail party. You'd spend the whole evening feeling out of place while everyone else talks about deals and portfolios and investments. That wouldn't be fun for you, and it would create stress for Marcus and Melissa. Sometimes love means stepping back. This is one of those times. We'll celebrate together as a family some other time. Love you." I didn't respond. Claire, my younger sister, was more direct. Claire, I heard about the party thing. That's pretty messed up. Me, it's fine. Claire, it's not fine. But also, I kinda get it. Melissa is intense about her image. And her family is intense. Like her mom literally Googles everyone before events. She probably already looked you up and found nothing impressive. Me, thanks Claire. Claire, I'm just saying. These people are next-level status conscious. Melissa works at Thornton Pierce Wealth Management. Do you know what their minimum client investment is? 25 million. Minimum. Her boss manages portfolios for billionaires. Like real billionaires. Not just people with a few million. This party is basically a business event disguised as a celebration. You not being there is probably better for everyone. Me, I already told Marcus I understand. Claire, okay good. Because mom was worried you'd make a scene or something. Just, let them have this, you know? I put my phone on silent and returned to reviewing the architectural plans for the Denver property acquisition. Saturday arrived. While my family got ready for the engagement party, I prepared for a different kind of evening. At 5:47 p.m., my phone buzzed with photos from the Harbor Club. Mom in a silver dress. Dad in a tuxedo. Claire in something probably too expensive for her budget. Marcus looking nervous but happy in a perfectly tailored suit. Then a group photo. My entire family standing with a blonde woman in a designer dress who must be Melissa, surrounded by people in cocktail attire holding champagne glasses. The caption, perfect evening with perfect people. I was finishing my makeup when my assistant called. Miss Foster, the car is downstairs. Thank you, Jennifer. I'll be right down. I chose the midnight blue Valentino gown. Simple. Elegant. Expensive enough to be respectful but not so flashy as to be trying too hard. My jewelry was minimal. Diamond studs, a simple platinum bracelet. The car took me across town to the Grandview Hotel, where the governor's business leadership gala was being held. I'd been attending this event for 3 years, ever since my company Meridian Capital Holdings had crossed the $100 million threshold in assets under management. This year was special though. Tonight I was receiving the Distinguished Entrepreneur Award. The ballroom glittered with the actual power players of the city. Not people who wanted to look successful but people who genuinely were. State senators. Fortune 500 CEOs. Real estate moguls. The presidents of major universities. Miss Foster. Governor Mitchell approached with a warm smile. Congratulations again. Well deserved. Thank you, Governor. I appreciate you making time tonight. Are you kidding? Honoring someone who built a $420 million portfolio by 32? That's the kind of success story we need to celebrate. We talked for a few minutes about my firm's focus on sustainable infrastructure investments, the affordable housing projects we'd funded, the clean energy initiatives we were backing. Your model is exactly what I've been telling the legislature we need more of, the governor said. Private capital doing public good. Smart business that actually helps communities. My phone buzzed. A text from Claire. Claire, only the Harbor Club is insane. Melissa's dad just introduced Marcus to some hedge fund guy. This is like movie-level fancy. Wish you could see this. I smiled and slipped the phone back into my clutch. At the Harbor Club, the engagement party was in full swing. Marcus stood near the bar, trying to follow a conversation about market volatility with 3 men from Melissa's father's firm. He understood maybe 30% of what they were saying but nodded aggressively and laughed at what he hoped were jokes. Melissa worked the room with practiced ease, her hand always on the right elbow, her laugh always perfectly timed, her questions always demonstrating just enough knowledge to be impressive without being threatening. Your daughter has a real future, someone told Mrs. Whitmore. Thornton Pierce doesn't give out VP titles lightly. We're very proud, Melissa's mother replied. She's the youngest vice president in the firm's history. Claire stood near the seafood tower, feeling simultaneously underdressed and overdressed, trying to figure out if she was supposed to recognize the man in the Ralph Lauren suit who kept name-dropping companies she'd heard of but couldn't quite place. Mom and Dad flanked Marcus like proud peacocks, beaming at anyone who acknowledged their son. He's in medical device sales, Dad told anyone who asked. Very successful. Top performer in his region. This was technically true, though it sounded more impressive at the Harbor Club than it felt during Marcus's actual workdays. At 7:43 p.m. Melissa's phone rang. She glanced at the screen. Gerald Thornton. Her boss. The managing partner of Thornton Pierce Wealth Management. Her stomach dropped. Gerald didn't call on Saturday nights. Gerald barely called during business hours. He usually communicated through his assistant. She stepped away from the crowd into a quiet hallway near the restrooms. Gerald, hi. Is everything okay? Melissa. His voice was tight. Controlled. I agree. We have a significant problem. What kind of problem? The Reed account. Catherine Reed just instructed her legal team to withdraw her entire portfolio from our management. $420 million. Effective immediately. The hallway tilted slightly. What? Why? She says it's personal. She won't elaborate. But her lawyer was very clear. She wants every asset transferred out of Thornton Pierce by end of business Monday. Gerald, that's impossible. Catherine Reed is my most stable client. I just had lunch with her 3 weeks ago. Everything was perfect. She was talking about increasing her commitment. Well, something changed. And given that she's your client, I need you to figure out what the hell happened and fix it. Tonight if possible. Gerald, I'm at my engagement party. There are 100 people here. I don't care if you're at your own wedding, Melissa. Catherine Reed represents 18% of your book of business. If she walks, your VP title walks with her. Do I make myself clear? Yes. Absolutely. I'll handle it. You have until Monday morning to unfuck this situation. If you can't, we're going to have a very different conversation about your future at this firm. He hung up. Melissa stood in the hallway, her hand shaking, her breath coming too fast. $420 million. Catherine Reed. Why would Catherine Reed, quiet, stable, low-maintenance Catherine Reed, suddenly pull her entire portfolio? She'd never even heard the woman raise her voice. Melissa scrolled through her phone, found Catherine's number and called. It went straight to voicemail. She called again. Voicemail. A text. Ms. Reed, this is Melissa Whitmore from Thornton Pierce. I just heard about your decision to transition your portfolio. I'm hoping we can discuss this. If there's been any miscommunication or service issue, I would very much like to resolve it. Would you have time for a call? The typing bubbles appeared. Then disappeared. Then appeared again. Finally, there is nothing to discuss. My decision is final. Melissa stared at the message. What the hell had happened? She tried to think through every interaction with Catherine Reed. Every email. Every meeting. Every phone call. Nothing. Catherine was a dream client. Hands-off, long-term focused, never demanding, always polite. She'd inherited her wealth from her late husband's tech company exit and had come to Thornton Pierce 7 years ago specifically asking for Melissa because she seemed smart and trustworthy. Melissa had managed Catherine's portfolio conservatively. Good returns. Low volatility. Exactly what Catherine wanted. So why? Her phone buzzed. A text from her mother. Where did you go? People are asking for you. Melissa, crisis at work. Need a few minutes. It's your engagement party. Melissa closed her eyes, counted to 5 and walked back into the party. Marcus spotted her immediately. Hey, you okay? You look pale. I'm fine. Work thing. Work thing? Now. It's fine. Everything's fine. But her hands were still shaking when she picked up her champagne glass. By 9 p.m., Melissa had called Catherine Reed 6 more times. All to voicemail. She'd texted 4 more times. No response. She'd emailed Catherine's lawyer. An auto-reply, out of office until Monday. She'd even tried Catherine's assistant, a kind older woman named Brenda who usually answered on the second ring. No answer. It was like Catherine Reed had vanished. Melissa stood in the Harbor Club bathroom, gripping the marble counter trying to think. $420 million. Her biggest client. If she lost this account, she wouldn't just lose her VP title. She'd be lucky to keep her job. Thornton Pierce didn't tolerate major account losses. The firm's entire reputation was built on client retention. She splashed cold water on her face and returned to the party. Her father found her near the bar. You've been on your phone all night. Everything all right? Client emergency. Tonight? Can't it wait? No. He studied her face. How bad? Bad. Do you need help? I need Catherine Reed to answer her goddamn phone. Her father's eyebrows went up. Catherine Reed is pulling out? You know her. Everyone knows her. Reed Technologies' exit was $300 million. She's been a Thornton Pierce client for years. Why would she leave? I have no idea. And she won't talk to me. Her father's expression shifted from concerned to calculating. If you lose the Reed account. I know. Melissa, your promotion to senior VP was contingent on maintaining your current book. I know. People nearby turned to look. Melissa lowered her voice. I'm handling it. Handle it faster. Across the room, Marcus was showing Claire something on his phone. Check this out, he said. Someone just posted photos from the governor's gala. Look at this turnout. Claire scrolled through images of elegant people in formal wear, standing in a ballroom that made the Harbor Club look modest. Wait, go back, she said. That woman in the blue dress. Marcus swiped back. Claire zoomed in. Is that so? That can't be. What? Marcus. Marcus. That's your sister. What? That's not. He looked closer. Holy shit. Claire grabbed the phone and zoomed in further. There was no question. It was definitely their sister. In an evening gown that probably cost more than Claire's monthly rent. Standing next to the governor. Shaking hands with the CEO of the state's largest bank. What the hell is she doing at the governor's gala? Marcus whispered. Claire was already scrolling through the rest of the photos. There she was again. Talking to a senator. Laughing with someone Claire recognized as a tech billionaire. On a small stage holding a crystal award as the governor clapped beside her. Claire zoomed in on the award. Distinguished Entrepreneur Award, she read aloud. Presented to Catherine Reed, founder and CEO of Meridian Capital Holdings, in recognition of exceptional business leadership and... She stopped. Catherine Reed, she repeated. Marcus's face had gone white. Catherine Reed, he said slowly. Didn't Melissa say? They both turned to look at Melissa, who was still near the bar, frantically texting. Claire walked over to Melissa. Marcus followed. Hey, Claire said. This is going to sound crazy, but, do you have a client named Catherine Reed? Melissa looked up sharply. Why? Because I think she might be Marcus's sister. The champagne glass in Melissa's hand started to shake. What? Claire showed her the phone. The photos from the governor's gala. The woman in the blue dress. Melissa stared at the screen. The room seemed to tilt. That's Catherine Reed, she whispered. My client. My biggest client. That's my sister, Marcus said. His voice sounded hollow. That's Catherine. Melissa looked from the phone to Marcus to Claire and back to the phone. Your sister is Catherine Reed? Her name is Catherine. But she doesn't. She works at a nonprofit. She lives in a tiny apartment. She drives a... She's worth $420 million, Melissa said flatly. She founded Meridian Capital Holdings 8 years ago. She's one of the most successful wealth managers under 40 in the entire state. The color had drained from Marcus's face. That's impossible. It's literally her. Melissa thrust her phone toward him. Catherine's profile on the Thornton Pierce client portal. Catherine Reed, portfolio value, $420 million. And the profile photo, small but clear, was definitely Marcus's sister. Oh my God, Claire breathed. We told her not to come tonight because she wasn't successful enough. You what? Melissa's voice cracked. The invitation, Marcus said weakly. I said, successful families only. Melissa's phone started ringing. Gerald Thornton. She answered with a shaking hand. Melissa, I just received formal documentation from Reed's legal team. The withdrawal is definitely proceeding. And there's a note here. It says, and I quote, this decision is due to the personal judgment and treatment Ms. Reed has received from Thornton Pierce representatives. What the hell does that mean? Melissa closed her eyes. Gerald, I need to explain something. Explain fast. Catherine Reed she's my fiancé's sister. Silence on the line. She's what? His sister. And there was a misunderstanding. About the engagement party. I didn't know she was. You didn't know your client's identity? She uses her married name. Catherine Reed. My fiancée's sister is Catherine Foster. I never made the connection. So you're telling me that you somehow personally offended your own client, who happens to be your future sister-in-law, badly enough that she's pulling $420 million? It wasn't like that. What was it like, Melissa? She couldn't answer. Fix this, Gerald said. I don't care how. Fix it by Monday or don't bother coming in. He hung up. Melissa turned to Marcus. Her voice was barely audible. Where is she? Where is your sister right now? At the governor's gala. Apparently. We need to go. Now. Melissa, the party. Fuck the party. She's pulling $420 million from my firm because we told her she wasn't successful enough to attend her own brother's engagement celebration. People were definitely staring now. Melissa's mother appeared. What is going on? We have to leave, Melissa said. Leave? It's barely 9 o'clock. Mom, please. This is an emergency. What kind of emergency could possibly? The kind where I lose my job and my entire career because I'm an idiot. 20 minutes later, Melissa and Marcus walked into the Grandview Hotel. The governor's gala was winding down. People lingered in small groups, finishing conversations, exchanging business cards, making plans for Monday meetings. Marcus spotted his sister immediately. She stood near the windows, talking with two men in tuxedos. She was laughing at something one of them said. She looked completely comfortable. Completely natural. Like she belonged here. As she did. Catherine, Marcus called out. She turned. Her expression didn't change. Polite. Pleasant. Nothing more. Marcus. Melissa. This is unexpected. Can we talk? Marcus's voice cracked slightly. Please. Catherine excused herself from her conversation and walked over. Up close there was no hiding the difference. Her dress probably cost what Marcus made in 2 months. Her jewelry was subtle but clearly expensive. Even the way she stood radiated a kind of quiet confidence that Marcus had never noticed before. Or maybe he'd never looked. Congratulations on your engagement, Catherine said smoothly. I hope the party is going well. Catherine, I need to talk to you about your portfolio, Melissa said urgently. There's nothing to discuss. My decision is final. Please. I didn't know. I swear I didn't know you were Catherine Reed. You use different names. I never connected. You didn't know I was your client, Catherine said. But you knew I was Marcus's sister. And you decided I wasn't successful enough to attend an engagement party. It wasn't. Successful families only, Catherine quoted. That was the message. And your boss, Gerald Thornton, he's here tonight actually. We just had a lovely conversation. He was very interested to learn that one of his VPs didn't realize that client confidentiality includes not making assumptions about people's financial status based on appearances. Melissa's face went white. You talked to Gerald? I talked to several people from Thornton Pierce. Your managing director sends his regards. He agrees that perhaps your firm isn't the right fit for my needs anymore. Catherine, please. My job is not my problem. Catherine's voice remained perfectly pleasant. You made your priorities clear. I'm simply adjusting my investments accordingly. Marcus stepped forward. Come on. This is insane. You can't pull your money because of a stupid party invitation. Can't I? It's $400 million. $420 million, actually. And it's my money. I can do whatever I want with it. But Melissa's career should have been something she thought about before she decided I wasn't worth including in your celebration. We didn't know. You didn't ask. Catherine's pleasant expression finally cracked, just slightly. You sent me a message that said successful families only. You never once wondered if maybe, just maybe, I might qualify. You just assumed. Based on what? My old car? My small apartment? The fact that I don't brag about money? You lied to us, Marcus said. You let us think you were struggling. I never said I was struggling. You assumed. There's a difference. Why didn't you tell us? Why would I? So you could treat me differently? So Dad could suddenly take my calls? So Mom could use my success to brag to her friends? So Claire could ask for money? So you could introduce me to Melissa's family as your successful sister instead of your embarrassing one? She shook her head. I built Meridian from nothing. I worked 80-hour weeks. I took risks that kept me up at night. I made difficult choices. And I did it without any of you because none of you believed I could. Now you want to be included in my success. After explicitly excluding me from yours. It was one party, Melissa said desperately. It wasn't about the party. It was about what the party represented. You looked at me and decided I wasn't good enough. That my presence would embarrass you. That I didn't belong. I'm sorry, Melissa whispered. I'm sure you are. Now that you know who I am. Catherine turned to Marcus. Congratulations again on your engagement. I genuinely hope you'll be happy together. But I won't be at the wedding. Not because I'm not invited, I'm sure I will be now. But because I don't want to spend my time with people who only value me for my bank account. Catherine. I have to go. The governor and I have a meeting in the morning about a new infrastructure project. Have a good night. She walked away. Marcus and Melissa stood frozen. Across the ballroom, Dad appeared. Then Mom. Then Claire. They'd come looking. They'd heard. Dad's face was ashen. Catherine owns Meridian Capital? $420 million, Claire whispered. She's been managing $420 million and none of us knew. Mom was scrolling frantically through her phone. There are articles. Forbes. Bloomberg. Business Insider. She's been featured dozens of times. Rising star in wealth management. 30 under 30. How did we not know? Because we never looked, Marcus said quietly. We never even looked. By Monday morning, the news had spread through both families. Melissa arrived at Thornton Pierce to find Gerald Thornton waiting in her office. The Reed account is gone, he said without preamble. She's moved everything to Fisher Strategic Capital. The transfer completed an hour ago. Gerald, if I could just talk to her. You've done enough talking. Your VP title is suspended pending review. You're back to senior associate effective immediately. Consider yourself lucky I'm not firing you outright. I didn't know she was. You didn't bother to know. That's worse. You made assumptions about a client based on superficial observations. You violated her privacy by discussing her financial status, or what you thought was her financial status, with family members. You demonstrated catastrophically poor judgment. He stood up. You have 6 months to rebuild your book. If you can't replace the Reed account value, you're done. Clear? Yes. After he left, Melissa sat at her desk and cried. Her phone buzzed. Marcus, we need to talk about the wedding. Melissa, what about it? Marcus, Catherine's not coming. My family is barely speaking to me. Your family is furious about the Reed account. Maybe we should postpone. Melissa, are you breaking up with me? Marcus, I don't know. I need time to think. He stared at the message. Everything was falling apart. At the Foster family home, Dad sat at the kitchen table with his head in his hands. She's been successful for 8 years, he said. 8 years. And we treated her like a failure. Mom was reading through articles about Meridian Capital Holdings. She employs 47 people. She's funded affordable housing projects in 6 cities. She's on the advisory board for the state's Economic Development Initiative. We told her not to come to Marcus's party because she'd be embarrassing, Claire said quietly. The silence was heavy. We need to apologize, Mom said. She won't take our calls, Dad replied. I've tried 12 times. Voicemail every time. 3 weeks later, Marcus received an email. From Catherine Foster. Subject: Moving forward. Marcus, I've had time to think about everything that happened. I'm not angry anymore. Mostly I'm just sad. You're my brother. I love you. But I can't have a relationship with someone who only values me when I'm useful. The same goes for Mom and Dad and Claire. I hope you and Melissa work things out. I really do. But I won't be part of your life moving forward. Not because I'm holding a grudge, but because I deserve better than to be someone's embarrassment until I'm someone's asset. I wish you well. Truly, Catherine. Marcus read it 3 times. Then he called Melissa. She's not coming back, he said. I lost my sister. I lost my career, Melissa replied. Her voice was hollow. Was it worth it? The perfect party? The successful families only? Neither of them had an answer. 6 months later, Catherine stood in the conference room of Meridian Capital's new expanded office. The Denver acquisition is finalized, her CFO reported. We're now managing just over 600 million in assets. And the team. We've hired 8 new analysts. All excellent. Catherine nodded. The growth was good. Controlled. Sustainable. Her phone buzzed. A wedding invitation. Marcus and Melissa. Finally happening. The note inside. We understand if you can't come. But you're invited. Always invited. We're sorry we made you feel otherwise. She put the invitation in her desk drawer. Maybe someday. But not today. Today she had a portfolio to manage, clients to serve, and a company to build. With people who valued her from the beginning. Not just after they learned her net worth.